Okay, so let's now talk about holding the pick properly. First off, you don't want to be using 3 or 4 fingers. It's just not a very practical way to doing it. What you want to do is use only 2 fingers, and that's it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our pick, take our thumb, hold it horizontally, and then put it right there on that pick. And see how that tip is showing? Want to make sure only your tip is showing. Get a really good grip on that pick. What happens is if you hold it over here, where only the edge, and then you got all this pick showing right there, this is what happens. You're going to start strumming. I dropped the pick. And it's going to happen to you over and over again. So again, you just got to make sure. Finger, your thumb, horizontally, and only the tip showing. Now, the other side, see how it's curved around? What you want to do is, again, there's your pick. You put it horizontally. Take your other finger, kind of curl it up, and then you clamp it down. And then you got that nice and tight right around there. You got both your thumb and your other finger holding it very tight. That pick isn't going anywhere. Now, having said that, I didn't learn it quite that way. I have a little bit looser version of that. I don't have it totally up and down, in the same direction as a pick. I have it curved just slightly. And that's just the way I learned it a while ago, and I'm used to it. I tried it really nice and tight and everything before, and tried to change my pick style, and I struggle with it. I've just been doing it way too many years this way. It's just like with anything else, on the guitar. You just try out different ways, and you find out which way is easiest for you and you feel most comfortable with. Whatever way that is, then that's the proper way. So, now, when you strike the strings, one thing you want to do is you want to do it horizontally. And actually, when you play a lead, you're going to want to tilt it just a little bit down, because then that pick slides across the strings a lot more easier. And one thing you don't want to do is turn it this way. You want to turn it upwards. Now, what that does is it causes tension right in here. And that's the enemy of everything you do. You don't want tension in your right or left hand. You want to be as loose as possible. So yeah, even try that out. You'll see what I'm talking about. So basically, when you're strumming chords, you kind of have it more vertical, and then as you're going down, it starts to angle downwards. But especially when you're doing lead, you're going to want to angle it a little bit downwards, because then it'll again glide across the strings a lot easier. Another thing you want to do is anchor those fingers. I use just a pinky mostly. Some people use 2 fingers, 3 fingers, and use that. What that does is it gives you stability, and your hand's going to be right next to the strings. You're going to be nice and stable, and you're going to be able to make those small movements a lot easier. And it also helps you with remembering distances. Your hand's going to automatically remember where between the 6th string and then your 2nd string, your 6th, and your 4th, and so on. What you really don't want to be doing is just kind of having this loose and kind of going at the strings like this, because you're going to be missing strings, hitting the wrong strings. There's no stability at all. So you got to be really careful with that. And you'll see some players, they'll have their hands curved like that, but they have their palm resting on the bridge, or sometimes they'll be this thumb will be against the strings, and that also helps with muting the strings, and they'll be playing like that, but there's always some kind of form of anchoring, and again, it helps with stability. Most common is just using your either your pinky or a couple fingers on there. And again, I use basically my pinky. And yeah, just get used to that. When you're playing chords, you want it nice and loose. Don't anchor. Well, small movements, anchor that pinky. It's going to help you a lot. So there you go. There's the names of your strings. We went over the which strings are number 1 and strings are number 6 and so on, and how to properly hold your pick. Okay, so there you go. Now, did you understand everything? If not, go back and review it again, because this is really important, because I'm going to be saying things like, all right, I want you to play the 4th string at the 6th fret, or I want you to play the G on the A string, or the B on the D string, and so on. And of course, that pick, you got to make sure you're holding that properly. So again, if there's something you didn't understand, go back and review it again. So work on that, and we'll see you in the next lesson.